Just below us, we've noted in the 10-box square that opens onto the track, the winner's circle.
Seem cordial before the race.
Tall, sparkling silver trophy for the winner this afternoon.
And they're off, and this is a go. Andrew Georgie Wolf is at the hook on Seabiscuit to keep him up, and they're coming to be head and head. Now the horse race is on. They're head and head, and both jockeys driving. It's the best horse from herein. They've got 200 yards to come. It's horse against horse. Both of them driving. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Now Seabiscuit by a length and a half. Moses put away his whip. Seabiscuit by 3. Seabiscuit by 3. Seabiscuit is the winner by 4 lengths.
He started out as not much, and the older he got, the better he got.
Not only did he have an enlarged heart, but he had a supersized lungs that helped him be a great racehorse.
Under the expansive shadow of the San Gabriel Mountains, a record 75,000 spectators huddled together to witness the moment Seabiscuit became the richest racehorse of all time.
Seabiscuit on track. They're coming down there, and Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit wins it. A new world champion is down there. He wins it, and listen to the crowd.
After decades of endless articles, movie adaptations,
They're catching him. They're catching him. Come on, man. They're past him.
and a best-selling novel by Laura Hillenbrand, the multitudes now gather in a sprawling valley in Northern California. Here they can visit the former home of their equine hero and his loving owner, Charles Howard. Ridgewood Ranch remains the Little Bay Colt's final resting place, and quite possibly his most lasting legacy.
In 1950, Charles Howard, on his deathbed, he asked his wife, Marcella, and his second oldest son, never to sell his property. This property was very sacred to Charles Howard, and this is where his buddy died, and he didn't want this property ever to be sold.
But only 1 year after his death, Charles Howard's heartfelt wish was forgotten. Following advice from their attorneys, the Howard family sold Ridgewood Ranch, severing its special connections to the game. 10 years later, the property was sold again, this time to Christ Church of the Golden Rule.
By that time in the 70s, people had pretty well forgotten that Seabiscuit was even here. People would go through the town of Willits and wanted to know where's Ridgewood Ranch, the home of Seabiscuit. Nobody would know.
Laura Hillenbrand's book, Seabiscuit, An American Legend, was first published in 2001 and was quickly followed up with a major Hollywood film adaptation. With interest rekindled in the Cinderella story of the track, the ranch's owners saw a special opportunity. They had been on the lookout for some way to protect their 5,000 acres that remained of the original 16,000. So in 2004, they formed the Seabiscuit Heritage Foundation. And with help from the Willits Chamber of Commerce, the Mendocino County Museum, and the Rotary Club of Willits, a restoration process as well as regular tours could commence. Tracy Livingston soon became immersed in the rich saga of the land, and its former owner, entrepreneur, and auto magnate, Charles Howard.
In 1917, he did well enough to where he loaned General Motors $2 million. He was one of the 5th richest men in the United States at the time, had $40 million. In 1921, Charles Howard came up here and bought Ridgewood Ranch, and this was just kind of a summer home. Charles Howard helped build the Santa Anita racetrack. During that time, here at Ridgewood Ranch, he was building a state-of-the-art breeding facility.
A life-size statue of C.S. Howard's Seabiscuit commemorates his famous victory in the 1940 Santa Anita Handicap when he became the then leading money-winning horse of all time.
Charles Howard hired Tex Wheeler to do a statue of Seabiscuit. 2 bronze castings were made off of that. One went down to Santa Anita, and the other one went to the showroom at Charles Howard on Van Ness Avenue. And then in 1947, when Charles Howard retired, that statue came up here to Ridgewood Ranch.
In addition to having these buildings here on the ranch that are remaining from the Howard era, it is exciting to be able to have the descendants of Seabiscuit for people to see. It brings a live connection to the history of Ridgewood, to be able to not only preserve the landscapes and the buildings that constitute his legacy, but also his bloodline, we felt was an important endeavor in terms of historic preservation.
With an engine laying, Seabiscuit's future is in doubt.
It was in 1939 that Seabiscuit first laid eyes on what he would soon come to know as home. In his last race, Seabiscuit pulled up lame and was promptly transported by way of his custom-made and fully air-conditioned trailer to Ridgewood Ranch, where he could begin the healing process under a watchful eye. It was believed that he would never race again. Seabiscuit's jockey Red Pollard was already waiting for him at the ranch, where he too was recovering from a severe leg injury, also expected to end his career.
Red Pollard was up at the Howard Hospital here in town that Charles Howard helped build. They would take long walks, and that was just part of the getting well process. They had a little half-mile track here, and that's where they would work the horses out. And he used to grab Seabiscuit, and they used to walk from the mare barn, and they'd go up to the house, the main house. Charles Howard looked out his bay window one day, and he was watching Red Pollard and Seabiscuit walking away from him, and they were limping, and he made the comment that they were both limping in unison. Charles Howard would get on Seabiscuit, and they'd go for rides, and they would help on the roundups. They would chase the cows. Seabiscuit would bite them on the butt. Seabiscuit really adapted to ranch life quite well. Of course, he was contributed by being a stallion here. He had 106 foals. When he came here in 1939, he weighed about 1,030. It was his racing weight. Ranch life was good for him, and he gained 230 pounds. He weighed 1,260. There's a scale out here on the ranch property where they used to weigh Seabiscuit. They got 1,260 marked on the scale, and that's what his weight was when he was a riding horse.
In 1940, against all odds, Seabiscuit, along with Pollard, would return once more to barn 38 of the Great Race Place. After over a year off the track, Seabiscuit would carry 130 pounds against his own stablemate Kayak II in the 6th running of the Santa Anita Handicap, a race he had lost twice by a nose. This would be the courageous 7-year-old's final attempt at the famed 100 Grander.
Coming down the stretch the first time, it's Whitby in front between Specify and Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit on the outside is second by an egg, 3/4 of a length. Seabiscuit is second by a head. Wedding Paul is third, and Can't Wait. They're turning for home now with Wedding Paul in front by a head. Kayak is second by a head. Seabiscuit is third by 1 length. And by county into the stretch, it's Seabiscuit in front by a head. Kayak on the outside is second. It's Kayak and Seabiscuit head in hand. It's Seabiscuit on the rail. Seabiscuit and Kayak. Seabiscuit and Kayak. They're coming down there, and Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit wins it. A new world champion is down there. He wins it, and listen to the crowd.